For years you may have heard a warning whispered at dinner tables, shouted by fitness influencers, and printed on diet plans like a rule carved in stone: don't eat carbs at night, because your body will turn them straight into fat while you sleep. It sounds logical, almost common sense, and that's why it's so powerful. But what if this belief is only part of the story, or even a misunderstanding passed down through decades of diet culture? Imagine this for a moment: two people eat the exact same bowl of rice, one at noon and one at 9 p.m., and somehow we've been taught that their bodies will react like they're eating two completely different foods. To understand what really happens when you eat carbs at night, you have to step inside your body, travel through time to old food myths, peek into modern science labs, and even look at how culture and psychology shape what we believe about food, because the truth is far more interesting than the fear. Carbohydrates have been misunderstood for a very long time, partly because they are so central to human history. Grains built civilizations, bread fed empires, rice sustained entire continents, and sugar once powered industrial revolutions, so it's no surprise that when weight gain became a modern concern, carbs became an easy target. In the early days of diet science, especially in the mid-20th century, researchers noticed that insulin, a hormone released when you eat carbs, helps move sugar from your blood into your cells, and they also noticed insulin is involved in fat storage, so a simple idea formed: carbs raise insulin, insulin stores fat, therefore carbs equal fat, and at night, when you're less active, that fat must be even worse. This neat little story spread quickly, but it skipped over the most important detail: your body doesn't have a clock that says fat storage mode on after sunset. When you eat carbs at night, the digestion process is exactly the same as it is in the morning. Enzymes in your mouth start breaking them down, your stomach and intestines turn them into glucose, and that glucose enters your bloodstream, where insulin steps in to deliver energy to your muscles, organs, and brain. The key question isn't the time on the clock, it's what your body needs and what your overall energy balance looks like. If you eat more energy than you use over time, you gain weight, and if you eat less, you lose weight, regardless of whether that food arrives at 8 a.m. or 10 p.m. Still, the nighttime carb myth refuses to die, partly because it feels intuitive. After all, you're going to bed, not running a marathon, so shouldn't those carbs just sit there? But your body is anything but inactive at night. While you sleep, your brain is incredibly busy, running dreams, consolidating memories, repairing cells, balancing hormones, and all of that requires energy, much of which comes from glucose. In fact, the brain alone uses about 20% of your daily energy, and it doesn't clock out just because you turned off the lights. There's also a surprising link between carbs and sleep itself. Eating carbohydrates in the evening can increase the availability of tryptophan in the brain, an amino acid that helps produce serotonin and melatonin, chemicals that promote relaxation and sleep. That's one reason why so many cultures traditionally eat carb-rich dinners, from pasta in Italy to rice in Japan to bread and potatoes across Europe, without seeing dinner as a metabolic disaster. Historically, people ate when food was available, often heavier meals in the evening after a day of labor, and obesity was not automatically the outcome. The modern problem isn't dinner carbs, it's constant snacking, oversized portions, ultra-processed foods, and sedentary lifestyles layered on top of them. Modern misconceptions also play a big role, especially in fitness culture, where carbs at night became shorthand for discipline and control, even though science doesn't back the fear. Studies comparing people who eat more carbs earlier versus later in the day often find little difference in fat loss when calories and protein are matched, and some even show improved adherence and sleep when people are allowed carbs at night, which indirectly helps weight control because tired, stressed people tend to overeat. There's also psychology at work here. When you label a food as forbidden after a certain hour, it becomes more tempting, and when people finally give in, they often overeat, blame the timing instead of the quantity, and reinforce the myth. That doesn't mean timing never matters at all. If you eat a huge, sugary meal right before bed, especially if you're already full, you might feel uncomfortable, experience blood sugar swings, or disrupt your sleep, but that's a digestion and portion issue, not a magical carb curse. Athletes, shift workers, and people with physically demanding jobs often eat carbs at night because that's when their bodies need to refuel, and their muscles soak up glucose efficiently to replenish glycogen, the stored form of carbs that fuels movement. Even for non-athletes, your muscles remain sensitive to insulin in the evening, and regular activity during the day keeps this system working smoothly. Another overlooked piece is cultural bias. Many diet rules were born in Western office-based lifestyles and then exported globally, even though millions of people around the world thrive on evening carb-heavy meals as part of balanced diets. Think about how normal it is to share bread at dinner in the UK or enjoy rice with family at night across Asia, and yet health outcomes depend far more on food quality, movement, stress, and overall habits than on clock watching. Science also shows that consistent eating patterns matter more than strict timing rules. Your body likes rhythm, and if you regularly eat dinner with carbs, your metabolism adapts to that schedule without panic. The real problem arises when carbs come packaged with excess fats, sugars, and calories, like late-night fast food or desserts eaten mindlessly in front of a screen, not because it's night, but because it's easy to overconsume energy-dense foods when you're tired and less aware. Old myths painted carbs as villains, modern misconceptions turned them into nighttime enemies, but the surprising fact is that carbs are simply fuel, and fuel behaves according to need, balance, and context. When you understand this, the fear fades, and you can make calmer choices, like choosing whole grains, fruits, or starchy vegetables at dinner instead of refined sugars, or adjusting portions based on your activity level rather than the position of the sun. Eating carbs at night doesn't automatically slow your metabolism, shut down fat burning, or undo your hard work. Your body is smarter and more adaptable than that. What truly matters is the story of your entire day, your entire week, and your entire lifestyle, not one bowl of pasta after dark. When you let go of the myth and see the bigger picture, food becomes less about rules and more about nourishment, enjoyment, and sustainability, and that might be the most powerful benefit of all, because a healthy relationship with food lasts far longer than any fear-based diet ever will.